during the startup's kind of life cycle, there's different numbers that you might have looked at. First, you're like, okay, we need to get like net revenue in, then we're fundraising, our overall MRR, we need to go show good numbers, then it turns to churn. But usually early on, what I call is like a year-on-year growth party. So most of my actually companies that I work with come through referrals, either from startups that I worked with or different angel investors or VCs. And what I like to call in the beginning is like year-on-year growth party. So companies look at from low base, yay, we're growing 20% year on year. We're going to hit 200%, sorry, month on month. We're going to hit 200, 300% year on year. Everything amazing. You need to look at that, startup. And then I see, okay, they're doing actually like 5,000 MRR. They grew to 6,000. So they added 1K MRR, yay. Like, that's like a monthly, it's not even a monthly salary. So in early stages, like, especially looking at top line revenue is like very dangerous, because it's like, let's say you did 100K last year, you did 100K new revenue this year, you grew to 200K, you grew year on year 100%, but you didn't actually grow because you already last year did 100K new sales. This year did 100K new sales, and maybe we'll do next year 100K new sales. You're actually flat. So this is the kind of things that you want to look at. And I also, as you scale up, it gets harder to replicate growth. So that in Israel, there's like a very simple unicorn formula that basically it doesn't matter up to 1 million. And then basically from 1 million, you need to triple first year, then second year, triple again. So you get from 1 to 3, then from 3 to, let's say, around 10. And then you do double. So you get to 20 and then 40 million. And boom, you're a unicorn company, basically. But obviously, in reality, it's not so easy. And also what I've often seen is that basically the more complex and the more growth comes in, the harder it is to understand what to really look at. And then we see quite a bit of like over reporting of numbers. You'll have your MQLs, SQLs, different markets, MQLs. And then it's like, I've seen often that it's okay, like there's like one SQL came from that market. Next month, it was 2 SQL. Is that data really meaningful? So the key thing that I like to look at with startups and what you need to focus on in the beginning, at least, is new sales only. Obviously, churn and these metrics matter, but actually like net new revenue coming in. So net new ARR, basically, what is the number there? Because that really, and there are obviously some leading metrics there to measure as well, but that's, for me at least, and what I suggest with many startups, like the key indicator to basically look at. So it's a lot of heavy lifting in the beginning, but basically, yeah, here, and also growing that net new revenue, right? So what I said is like, oh, first year you did 100K, then you added 100K of new revenue again. It looks as if things are good. You're growing 100% year on year, but you didn't actually grow your new customer acquisition. So that's why, like, before you're ready to really scale, I would look at doing at least 50 to 100K ARR, annual contract value, whatever you want to call it, bookings per sales rep per quarter, and then you're ready to scale. And the bigger your ticket size, the bigger the number might be. So if you're doing enterprise sales and it's, let's say, 50K on average, then you might look at actually having a bigger, like maybe 150K when you're ready to scale. But really what you're looking for is to have a predictable pipeline creation. So to make sure that you can actually scale that. So it's not like, some month we got in 5 leads or created 5 opportunities. Next month it's 20, then it's back to 5. We don't really know where they're coming from. So it's really important that when you're adding those salespeople, they actually have a lead pool to give to them. Or if you're doing an outbound sales process, that you have SDRs that know how to source more leads, you know where to get them from, and you actually have a predictable sales process in place, along with good hygiene. Because what often happens is that you get VC funding, and then it's like, great, we got to, I don't know, 500K ARR, 1 million, maybe even 2 million, whatever. But if you haven't really worked out those fundamentals and you get this extra fuel, basically, if you don't have these processes and you add 5 people, most likely you're going to burn a lot of, first of all, time, but secondly, also a lot of funding, because basically it's much harder to figure things out when you have like 5 people. There's much more noise happening, etc. So use that early stages of revenue to really work out your processes, because it doesn't really matter like your growth until 1 million ARR, because the best part of that is that you really want to get that good product market fit. And this is what this period should be used for, rather than optimizing, getting extra 5K of revenue that quarter, pleasing some random angel investor. At the end of the day, you're looking to build a long-term, sustainable business. And this is your time to kind of build the model when you're still small. Maybe it's the founder, a few salespeople, or an SDRs. And it's much easier to kind of build a repeatable sales process. So that's why, like, before actually starting to scale, ask yourself, like, are you really ready to scale? Like, do you know what you're doing right now? And sometimes it might be that it works really well in Poland, but now you want to go abroad. Like, do you have a ready model to put 5 people on your sales process in, let's say, in the American market or in an international market? Do you even have the leads? And be honest here, because like what we see often is, like, for example, I can say from my personal experience as well, even on a successful company like SimilarWeb, many startups go through a phase that they overhire sales, and then basically it might actually ruin your kind of company culture as well. Then you need to kind of let go a lot of them. So be honest that at least you have some fundamentals in place, and you have, some kind of success that you can get, that basically the new hires can replicate. And it might mean that, in some markets, maybe if you're an SMB product, you're actually at the growth phase, but then you want to go to mid-market, there you still need to do the learnings. So allow yourself time to really, first of all, have the product fit, then actually have the kind of the channels and sales, and work out the whole commercialization aspect of it as well. And look at each business unit separately, maybe up to 1 million. I think somebody from Virtuous Lab was saying that they have different products. It's very product to product, right? It's not like, oh, we look at overall, we're a big company, 10 million, let's put like 10 new salespeople, we're ready, but like, what will they sell? What is, each salesperson needs to have a certain pipeline to work with. So that's why be kind of honest with yourself. Maybe with some part of the business, you're in a more mature phase. Maybe with some of it, you're in a more earlier phase. So what we see in terms of like sales maturity and organizations in kind of early stage, seed stage to A-round startups is that there's like 3 types of sales organizations. There's something called like founder mojo. So the founder is super charismatic, especially when you're doing more like enterprise type of sales. It's very unstructured. Maybe there's 1 or 2 salespeople kind of helping along, either in an SDR role, technical sales role, and kind of revenue comes in, but it's not really kind of repeatable, and it's very like unscalable. It's very like dependent on the founder. And again, this is fine. It needs to be done. And the bigger the ticket sizes, the founder needs to be involved. But you do want to build this like repeatable sales engine so you can kind of scale further. But don't lie to yourself that, if you're a founder, that, oh, we got to 1 million, boom, we have a great traction. Let's hire 5 sales guys. They'll just sell, based on what? Like, do we have like actual kind of playbook or some kind of process to offer them? So then you have a second type of sales, very common with maybe smaller ticket sizes, which I like to call like the initial cowboy sparring squad that, are going for every opportunity, boom, boom, boom. Maybe not a real understanding of what the ideal ICP is, or what type of customers we should go after, like what's their maturity in terms of technologies that they're using related to, what we are offering. If they're very early, maybe they're not ready for us. Some revenue comes in, but also like you'll have some high months, some low months. There's a lot of deals open, very like wall-to-wall close times, no real kind of visibility. And then the kind of third one is the more structured sales organization, where you have a clear understanding of different sales stages. What is the entry-exit criteria of different deals? You nurture your old deals that were lost. You have tasks. Everything is kind of working in sync. You don't have lost deals that are out there for like 90 days or 6 months or 9 months that maybe weren't real opportunities to begin with. So you have a really clear understanding of what is an opportunity. And in this kind of environment, you're really ready to kind of add people. But obviously on top of that, so I want to give you guys like a small tool. This is like a simplified version, but you really need to have like a pipeline plan along with when you're scaling. So it's not like, oh, we'll hire, 5 people, we'll put them How much would we like to make? Let's put them on like a 30K target. Sounds good. Will they make it? We don't know. You really want to kind of build a good, successful sales culture. And like ideal moment is that your target is usually like 80, 90% of what on average is being achieved, so that they rather overachieve rather than underachieve, and that there's constant stress, because like they'll be talking to your customers, and if they're stressed, they're not thinking straight, they're not doing their best job. So really have kind of clarity where the leads are coming from, you know, what's your process, is it right, are you happy with deals moving forward to next steps? And yeah, here is one of the examples. So finally, what I wanted to give, it's not just about sales. Often it's like, we need more revenue, you know, let's close more deals. Our sales are so shit. I hired some guy, doesn't know how to sell, you know, but you didn't really give him a chance to really succeed. So the key thing in B2B sales-led startups, so that the type of startup that I mainly work with, is that the sales is like your forefront to the market. This is where you get all of your feedback, not the existing customer base, but talking to the new customers, because they are the problems that you're looking to solve, and sales needs to bring that knowledge back to product and marketing. And it's really amazing to see that once the sales knows what type of customers to go, what is the messaging, what kind of stakeholders need to be there, how to really listen to customer needs and basically sell based on their needs, you really start seeing amazing things happen. That, hey, you know, usually, especially if you go on a higher tiers, let's say you're a good SMB product, you're going to mid-market, you will have friction in the product. It's not only about like usually that your sales cannot sell the product. So then you start getting this feedback, you invite, you know, product people into maybe some of the sales calls, and also you'll see how your basically development will get much faster, and also marketing will be much better tackled to bring in new leads, because they also understand the market better. So yeah, it's not only about sales, it's basically making that whole flywheel work, especially in B2B sales-led startups. So that